Brattleboro. It'll be the Colonels at the plate first, taking on Mike Sorelli, number 22 for MSJ on the mound. And the game's first pitch, be right there for a strike. Well, I don't want to say a must-win situation for either side, but a win here would be big for either team because this is a league contest. And MSJ coming in with back-to-back losses in league play to MAU down in Bennington and to Rutland here in the city, of course. For the Mounties, the good news about those two losses were they were either ahead or just missed strike three. Whoa! 1-2 the count. Leadoff batter is Andrew Kavanaugh up there for Brattleboro. Mounties were ahead late in the game against MAU and were in the ball game the whole time, and were in a position to be able to get a win at Rutland. So they were not blowouts, and there is a strikeout swinging by Kavanaugh. Troy Scott up now, the shortstop for Brattleboro. It is a cloudy day. It is a fielder's sky. The threat of rain later in the afternoon. I'm sure we'll be fine here for this ball game, barring massive extra innings. There's a strike on the inside corner, but it is a windy, gusty day, and it is a pitcher's wind, the wind blowing from center field right into the hitter's face. And that's going to be fisted foul, and Sorelli being up in the count. Something that was very important for Sorelli to do is get off to a good start here for his own psyche. And he's got one strikeout already on the leadoff batter, and he's up in the count 0-2 here to Scott with Ryan Smith, the on-deck hitter. Now after this next pitch, I'll set that MSJ defensive alignment for you. And just fights off a breaking ball. That was a very, very good strike two swing by Scott. Bill Scholdice down at first base defensively. It's Colin McCormick at second. Ryan Gilbert is the shortstop, replacing the injured Brian O'Rourke. Nolan Rhodes is at third base, and of course the big guy behind the dish, that's Ryan Carter. And that will just miss and make it a 2-2 count. Eric Ladebush starting in left field. Willie Haddock is your center fielder, and Rich Cussell in right field. And that completes the defensive alignment for the Mounties. Boy, and I'll tell you, they're going hard for it, and going to be out of play anyways. That's over the fence toward Otter Creek, toward those swollen banks of Otter Creek that are almost touching the shorter grass area on the other side of the fence. So we stay with a 2-strike count with one down, nobody on. Brattleboro coming in with a 1-3 record. MSJ with a 4-2 record. Like I stated, they have lost back-to-back games. Oh God, I'm looking, strike three. So Sorelli with back-to-back strikeouts to start the ball game off will face Ryan Smith. Now they're going to DH in the number 4 spot with Colby Curlow if they get that far. And this will be the first left-handed pitcher facing Sorelli. And that pitch will come inside and low, a tad bit too far inside and low, and it'll be ball one. And I'll tell you what, that outfield playing pretty much straight away, not favoring him being a left-handed hitter. He'll put a little nubber into play. That's a live ball. Carter will pick it up. Tough throw. And nope, that was just a tough play all the way around because it stayed directly in the baseline, and Carter had to negotiate the ball around the base runner. And I just knew that was trouble the minute that was hit. Now, unofficially, I'm unofficial, so I don't need nasty emails. Or I don't want the professional guys watching this scratching their head saying how wrong I am. I'm going to give him an infield base hit. Yeah, it might be completely incorrect, but it's my show and my camera, and that's what I'm going to go with. So Sorelli, with 2 down, 1 on, will go from the stretch. Scholdice will hold the runner on over at first base defensively, and Carter with a cannon of an iron behind the plate. And there'll be a 2-0 count. So now, pitching from the stretch with a runner on. We'll see if that changes. Sorelli being able to get the ball over the plate for strikes. A lot of pitchers just feel more comfortable pitching from the full windup. You see Scholdice holding the tag on until the runner will ask for time, be granted time. Again, you're watching the leader in local sports coverage, public access television, the website, www.PEGTV.com. Whoa. Yeah, they got a big ooh and ah from the MSJ dugout. I'm not quite sure where that pitch was, not to be called a strike. But now it goes to 3 balls and no strikes, and they're in danger of putting a runner in scoring position via the walk, and taking all the way on a 3-0 count will be Curlow for strike 1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Chad Cutting will be the on-deck hitter. And can't get the count there, and that'll be with 2 down now. 2 runners get on. So Sorelli with 2 strikeouts, a little infield dinker of a hit, and now the walk. Like I said, that will bring up Chad Cutting, the first baseman. So Brattleboro looking to push across a run with 2 down here in the top of the first. Brattleboro with an interesting day when they come to the big city to be efficient. Oh, wait a minute, this could be playable. Where's Bill? There he is. No, he's not going to be able to get to it. I don't know if you can see it. See the water? How high Otter Creek is to be able to get that high and close to the field. That'll be a foul ball strike. But Brattleboro will play here this morning game, this 11 a.m. start time game at MSJ, and then head over to the George Eddy Park facility and take on Rutland High School. So they've got a doubleheader here. Just going to change venues. Oh, big breaking ball. Fooled him for strike 2. And Sorelli 0-2 in the count, pitching to the 5th batter of the first inning. You look inside and get the sign from Carter, and with an 0-2 count, it's the pitcher's choice right here. It's his delight of what he wants to throw. Came up with the rising fastball. I like the choice. It just got away from him. And going up the ladder out of the strike zone up 0-2 is never a bad thing to do. That one just was just even a little bit too high for me to swing at. Pitch on the way, and same pitch, and the runners now will move up. And tell you, with Brattleboro with 2 outs here, with that little infield dinker, the walk, now the wild pitch, they've got runners at 2nd and 3rd. And the significance is another wild pitch or a little ground ball not handled, and the runner can score. Now they're at 3rd base. So things are going very well here. 2 strikeouts to the first 2 batters, and now a little bit of a struggle to find that elusive 3rd strikeout or 3rd out period, whether it's via the strikeout or on a ground ball, pop up, whatever. That's going to be put in the shortstop, and Gilbert bobbles and got him. Boy, I tell you what Gilbert did. He didn't appear to panic, stuck with it, got the out, and well, it was scoreless top of the first. On the mound for Brattleboro is Joel Martell, and he'll have Kyle Whitworth behind the plate, and Colin McCormick's the leadoff batter, shows bunt, pulls the bat back, and strike on the outside corner. For the Colonels, out in the field defensively, they had Chad Cutting at first. Adam Bernier-Sontag is at 2nd base. That is going to be put in the plate on the first baseline. Looks to be playable and will be, just on to the bleachers. And it will be a foul ball strike, and that will keep McCormick alive with an 0-2 count. At shortstop's Troy Scott. Ryan Cutting is at 3rd base, so a couple of cuttings at the corners for Brattleboro. Ryan Smith is in right field. Andy Kavanaugh, your center fielder. Andrew King is in left, and Whitworth is the catcher. Martell with an 0-2 count. McCormick, Ryan Gilbert, and Will Haddock, the first 3 Mounties due up here. Colonels stranded 2 runners in scoring position, and that's the way Sorelli started out for MSJ, the way Martell did right here, with a swinging strikeout of the leadoff batter. Now the shortstop Ryan Gilbert up. Of course, Coach Glenn Carter here at MSJ. Got a solid team. Like I said, they've dropped a couple, but they were in each ball game and could have got a little hit here, or a strike call there. They could have easily won both those ball games. And that one right there make us a 1-1 count here to the 2nd batter in the order. Again, batting in the cleanoff spot, if they get that far, will be Big Bill Schuldice. Oh, just came back with that high rising away fastball and threw that curveball inside. Tied him up for a swinging strike 2. Oh, you just can't watch with 2 strikes right down the pipe. Sit down, Mr. Gilbert. Got to get the bat off your shoulder with 2 strikes. So Haddock up with the bases clear. Now this is where Brattleboro mounted their threat in that top half of the first, after the first 2 batters were retired on strikes or strikeouts, just like we're seeing right now. So Haddock, who's been a very good season in the field and at the plate, will watch that one tickle the outside corner for a strike from Martell. Again, if you go to that website, PEGTV.com, not only can you get scheduling information, but you can also click on video on demand and watch talk shows, programs, sporting events, parades, anything that's on that Channel 15 menu, and you can watch right there on your computer. You can be on a business trip to Ohio, have your son or daughter playing in a ball game here in Rutland, and if you're lucky enough that Munger Vision videotapes it, you can just click on your computer in Ohio and watch the game. just outside and away. 2 balls, 1 strike. To Will Haddeka, playing center field today. We've seen Willie, of course, pitch and play first base, and pretty much where you plug him in. He's just been a good athlete and plays very well. That'll be fouled off late on the swing. It'll go down the third baseline, actually onto River Street, and that'll even the count out at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Like I said, it's overcast, it's cloudy. It's a beautiful sky for the fielders. It's a very comfortable day to videotape as far as sun into the lens. I don't have to worry about that. But it's that darn breeze that we just can't get rid of since last year's hurricane. And ball tip, cut! No, he just lost the handle on it. Almost a nice job by the catcher, Kyle Whitworth. Haddeka just did get enough of it to foul it off and stay alive with the 2 strikes. Again, this is a league matchup right here. Every game important in the state of Vermont. That'll be outside. He just, probably the last time he can nibble in the count with a 3-2 count. You would expect fastball here, even though they can be creative, and they got a lot of confidence in their breaking ball, and they can throw that. But the big righty will kick fire, and just brought the heat right in on the fist, and Haddeka fouls it off and stays alive. And both players doing their job right there, putting the ball in a hard position to hit, but in the strike zone, in on the fist, and then the batter with the 2 strikes protecting the plate with the foul ball. And that's going to be to shortstop. Bobbled. Haddeka's got speed, and he's going to beat it out. How reminiscent is that? Now, that wasn't a dinker like that Brattleboro squad hit in top of the first with 2 down, but it was a close play at first that was bobbled on the throw. And again, I'm unofficial, but I'm going to have to give the shortstop for the bobble and the throw an error. So with 2 down, they'll have a runner on first base, and the cleanup batter, Bill Scholdice, due up. And that's where Bill is right there. Now, Coach Carter likes to be aggressive on the base pass. Haddeka with a very conservative lead, kind of jumpy there, dove back to first base, and again you can start to hit and run the straight steal, but you also don't want to take that bat out of your cleanup hitter's hand. So Scholdice with good power up there from the right side of the plate. Showed bunt, runners going, throw down. Oh, they had him. What a throw down, and just gone. That'll erase the threat, and we'll have a scoreless first inning. So Sorelli in the top of the second inning will start things off with a swinging strike, another rising fastball. Joe Martell, Andrew King, and Kyle Whitworth due up. If they get to a 4th batter, it'll be the number 9 spot with Ryan Cutting. And that'll make it a 1-1 count. He went with the heater, then came back with the breaking ball, and we're all even at 1-1. We have a scoreless first inning. Each team able to get at least 1 runner on base after 2 down, but could not actually push him across the plate. And that's going to be out of play. I won't even follow that one. That's going to be out of play. Again, you have Bill Scholdice down at first base defensively. Colin McCormick is your second baseman. Ryan Gilbert, the shortstop. And Nolan Rhodes is over at the hot corner on third base. Ryan Carter behind the dish. Mike Sorelli on the mound. And that will miss outside. Couldn't get him to chase it. Eric Lattabush is your right fielder. Willie Haddeka remains in center field. And Rich Gussel is out there in left. And again, see Sorelli, he's a nibbler. He goes to a full count here. He's always all around the edges of the plate and the strike zone. And if you don't chase it, you're going to be up in a count like this. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And he'll draw the second walk of the ball game. This time, though, it's in the leadoff spot, and that changes the whole complexion of what you can do strategically here. Got to worry about small ball, of course. You got to hold a runner on, and that creates a bigger hole to punch the ball through on the first and second base hole. And you can also straight steal, and you get the pitcher going to the stretch. You get the defense shifting around, anticipating some type of play to be put on. And Sorelli now with another ball. 1 ball, no strikes. And Andrew King, the left fielder, awaits the second pitch. He'll put it into play, and they're going to go to second, get the lead runner, and that is it. Nice job on the pivot down there at first base. Good job of covering by Gilbert on the bag, and I like the fact they got that lead runner out. So Scholdice to McCormick, and then King on with the fielder's choice. So Kyle Whitworth, the catcher, getting his first look at Mike Sorelli. 1 out, 1 on. Top of the second, scheduled for 7. Nice stop behind the plate by Carter. Ryan Carter able to slide out, backhand that like a shortstop. And I believe Hanukkah and Sorelli, the only pitchers available innings-wise. I think Carter has used up his innings for the week, won't be able to pitch. Runner going, throw coming down, and it's going to go out into center field. Hanukkah will be right there in the backup like he was supposed to and scoop it up. There was nobody on the bag, and Carter was trying to throw to the first base side of the bag to lead in the runner. And right now, you can't see it, but I can. The shortstop Gilbert and the second baseman McCormick talking to each other. There was some confusion, on the coverage on second base, and I can hear Coach Carter expressing that same opinion as you've got to know who's covering the bag. So that runner now in scoring position with one down. Hanukkah with the best arm in the outfield in case there's a ball hit at single to outfield position. If they try to send the runner all the way home from second, that's a swinging strike on a high fastball. Makes the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Munger Vision bringing you this MSJ varsity baseball action. Long look in. We'll see what Carter will call for behind the plate. And that's right off the face mask of Mr. Carter for strike 2. So we'll go to an even count now at 2 balls, 2 strikes. They'll examine the ball, hand the ball to the umpire, and he will put the ball back into play. So Brattleboro for the second inning in a row, having a runner in scoring position. Remember, they stranded runners at second and third to end the top of the first. Whitworth trying to punch in the game's first RBI at the plate. I expected a high-scoring game, a 7-6, 8-7, 8-6 type of ball game. Just because these two teams usually get together and play just that style of game. So we got a long way to go. We're scheduled for 7. I cannot see this being a mercy-ruled game. And that pitch, I thought it was going to hit the batter. I believe he thought it was going to hit him also, but ended up snapping off and just missing the inside corner. Oh, good pitch. Good night. Sit down. 2 strikes. Can't watch him. Whitworth will go down for the second out. That's the 3rd strikeout of the ball game, and that is a big get there. Without number 2, we'll bring up the number 9 batter in the order, Ryan Cutting, the 3rd baseman. And that would mean the top of the order on deck and Andrew Kavanaugh. Sorelli with at least a strikeout here to start the ball game off in the first 2 innings. He's at 3, and that's going to be strike. Ooh, a little premature on my case. That'll be a ball, not a strike. It is not where the catcher catches the ball. It's where that crosses the batter and the plate. And that did seem to be about belt high, but he didn't get the call. That could be the inning. Not they're going to run out of real estate. That'll be actually well out of play. Actually, you know what? I had it on the wrong person. That's funny. What a foolish thing. Carter made the catch. I was watching Nolan Rhodes. You missed the play completely. Ryan Carter against the screen back there with the handshake stayed with it, and he will get the 3rd out. Good thing my eyes aren't behind the plate making a catch, so they'll strand another runner in scoring position, and we'll go to the bottom of the 2nd in a 0-0 ball game. So Scholdice will resume at the plate with a new count. Remember, he was up at the plate hitting when Hanukkah was thrown out at second base, and Martell will have that one popped up and caught, in foul territory, but in playable territory, so that will retire Scholdice on a little fly ball down to first base where the catch was made by Chad Cutting. Now Mike Sorelli up as they're just at the 5th batter in the order with that runner being thrown out at second base to end the first. He's right on target, and boy, this is going to be a tough catch. And it's going to be foul territory. I'll just fall out of the reach of the first baseman and the right fielder, and that'll just be a strike. So Sorelli will pick the bat up, get back into the box, get set to try to do some more serious damage with a swing here. Carter on deck. They got him down in the number 6 spot today in the order. And I'm sure Coach Carter has his reasons for that. Again, I could listen to Coach Glenn Carter talk baseball for days and days and days. That's around the chin, a little high for a ball. Martell with some good pop on that fastball. It's got that movement up with that explosive tail on it. Like that. That was a great pitcher's pitch. Inside tied him up. Never really had a chance to do much with it if he did get the bat on the ball. And that'll be a 1-2 count now to Sorelli with 1 out, nobody on. In a scoreless game in the bottom of the 2nd. MSJ at the plate, taking on the Colonels, 2 old rivals. And that will be right off the mask of the umpire this time, who seems to have weathered that relatively well. Those masks nowadays aren't like 10 or 15 years ago. They've got some real decent padding, and the system's been designed to absorb the shock of the ball just like that. Tell you, I gotta give him credit for staying back on the pitch. He'll fly out to the center fielder, and that was caught by Kavanaugh. That'll be the second out of the second inning. So MSJ, first two hitters getting the bat on the ball, but flying out both times. Now Ryan Carter up. Of course, Carter, well documented, tremendous strength and power. He can leave the yard with any one swing of the bat, and with two down, they can be a little fussy here pitching to him. And they can do one of those nibble on the corners and not call it an intentional walk type deal. Or you can really be cocky and go right after him. That'll be ball two. That one was intended to be a strike. He wasn't nibbling on that pitch. 2-0 the count. That one right down the heart of the plate. Probably the best pitch you'll see in the whole sequence. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 down with Rich Cussell, the on-deck batter, in case Carter extends the inning. Threw him the curveball. Yeah, and he was able to foul it off. So with a 2-2 count. Again, if you go to that website, PEGTV.com, that's PEGTV, stands for Public Education and Government. It's community television. They've really revamped and upgraded the website. It is an interactive, interesting, and very informative website. Like I said, you can download video on demand, watch programming right there on your computer, get the schedules, get information about the staff, the paid staff at 15, and everything you need to know about public access television. The only thing it really needs is missing is a whole little biography and then story on me, but you can't have everything, So you have to settle for the important stuff, the information on that website. Of course, I'm joking about me. Oh, that's going to be a gapper. That's going to be a gapper. That's going to bounce, and that's a great job of cutting the ball off. Carter looking. Here comes the throw, and kind of a belly flop of a slide, but the big catcher will be down there with a double. Tell you what, they did a nice job out in right field. Number 7, Ryan Smith, getting to that ball in the gap, and they didn't get him at second, but good hustle play. Rich Cussell up now with 2 down and a runner in scoring position for MSJ. That is the first base runner to get to second base for the Mounties. And they're going to have a courtesy runner come out so Carter can go in and get his equipment on, his catcher's gear on, and also a little more speed than Ben Sexton. That'd be a pretty close race between Carter and Sexton, to tell you the truth. With no joking intended, Carter can lumber around there for a big guy. That's going to be fouled out of play back on the River Street, and again, Martell will be up in the count, which he has been for most of the ball game. He's got 2 strikeouts, no walks. There's been 1 error committed by Brattleboro. That's the first base hit given up by Martell, and Cussell steps in, trying to relax at the plate. Now awaits the pitch. Sexton with a pretty healthy lead down at second base. That's going to be put into play to the shortstop. Look at a nice big bounce at the end, and the throw. Oh, he's going to be safe. They did not get the tag down, so that'll be 2 errors this inning, and that will prolong, or 2 errors for the ball game, excuse me, 1 per inning. And again, that took a nice hop for the shortstop out there, Troy Scott, who's also committed the other error in the ball game. So Nolan Rhodes up with runners at the corner, and don't forget, Carter likes to run as a coach. Whitworth's already thrown 1 runner out trying to steal second, but in this situation, that old fake to third, spin around, throw to first, and it has worked in the past. I have seen that play work. It just doesn't work a lot as far as frequency. See if they'll send the runner on a steal. I'll tie them up. They do send the runner, and nice job out there of not letting that ball sail into center field as that got it away from Whitworth. But again, nice job of staying out there, sticking with the ball. So that'll eliminate the easy little force out at second base. And 2 runners in scoring positions for Nolan Rhodes, who's watching that pitch sail outside. Oh my goodness, okay, for a strike. They call it a strike. So Rhodes got to make contact with 2 strikes. It'll be high. They had the runner breaking in the windup, aggressively down the third baseline, trying to distract the pitcher. Sexton. Oh my goodness. I'm a hometown fan, but if I was calling that, to me sure looked like strike 3. 2-2 the count now, and Rhodes got to get the bat on the ball and protect here. Now just flirting with strike 3. So it'll go to a full count. Runners at second and third. Cussell is down at second. And Sexton, the courtesy runner, is down at third. And that's going to be the base hit. Yes. Timely hit. And then the ball misplayed. They're going to send the runner to second base. He's safe. He's in there ahead of the tag. Underneath the, he slid under the tag. And that's going to be a big, big hit by Rhodes. It's going to be a 2 RBI double by Nolan Rhodes with 2 down. And a nice piece of hitting. There was a fastball on the outside corner of the plate, low and outside, and he went down and got it and went to the opposite field with the pitch. And MSJ with the 2-0 lead. Now Ladderbush up. We'll look at strike 1. So I got to tell you, you got to give Nolan Rhodes a lot of credit. Even though I thought a couple of those 2-strike pitches could have been easily strike 3, he pushed the count to a full count and got the pitch he wanted. And that's going to have a chance. It's going to be over. They had, they're going to wave Rhodes around, and they're going to throw through. No, it'll be cut off. 3 runs now as Ladderbush will come up with a 2-out single and drive in Rhodes. So the bottom of the order getting the job done. This was all started off by Carter with a double, then the error on the shortstop, and then a double by Rhodes and a single by Ladderbush in the top of the order. Colin McCormick up now. And this will warrant a visit to the mound by the Brattleboro coach to Martell. McCormick at the plate struck out his only time up. That was in the last inning, the first inning. Martell from the stretch. Runner going, and boy, they would have had him. That throw was high, but it was a very late break by Ladderbush. But again, this is Coach Carter ball. He'll move those runners along. He'll be aggressive. He will make the defense get chaotic and get out of position. And now McCormick with another runner in scoring position here for MSJ. There's the bunt right back to the pitcher. There's one play to first. Mounties pick up 3. They'll have the lead after 2. 3-0 over Brattleboro. So I have Kavanaugh leading things off here in the third, scheduled for 7 for Brattleboro. Ball 1. Difference in the ball game right now. Each team has had runners on base, runners in scoring position, but it's been MSJ that's been able to get the timely hit that would drive the runs in, and they got it from the bottom portion of the order, which always makes a coach with a big smile on his face. Let me fall back into the screen, and we'll have a 1-1 count. Yes, lots of sports coming up on Munger Vision on PEGTV. You've got more CSJ softball action, more Mill River softball action, and then of course MSJ baseball. Got the Thunderbirds, there's a swing and a miss for a strike. Got the Bougiani Thunderbirds AAU basketball tournament coming up. I'll have several games from that tournament. That's always an outstanding tournament, good competition, well-organized event. And boy, I'll tell you, late break on the ball, and I'm waiting for the call. Foul ball. Cussell hustling in from left field was there just a step late, and then I believe that's the shortstop. Yeah, it was Gilbert that faded back also and just couldn't get there. So after everything is done and all the dust is settled and everybody's back into position, all it was a foul ball strike. Yeah, and then on June 28th, big event down at CSJ. Big event for Rutland City, actually. I'll let Sorelli get this pitch in there. No, tried the backdoor breaking ball, and it never really came in the back door. Stayed outside. We have the Western Massachusetts men's and women's high school all-star basketball teams taking on the Vermont men's and women's all-star basketball teams at CSJ on the 28th, starting at 1 o'clock, and then the next game at 3 o'clock. Man, I'll tell you what. First of all, it's going to be great competition. You get to see some of the best players in this area, and also it's a beautiful facility to go down and watch the ball game. And that's going to be out of play. So we'll stay with a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Sorelli trying to avoid letting that leadoff batter get on. Like I said, he's got 3 strikeouts, a couple walks, an infield base hit. And that'll be his second walk right there. And that Again, will be the second inning in a row that the leadoff batter has gotten on base for the Brattleboro Colonels. Both teams wearing those light grayish uniforms. MSJ out in the field defensively. And of course Brattleboro at the plate then. Brattleboro trimmed out in purple and MSJ in green, but I don't know if my old camera can distinguish that for you. Troy Scott up, he has struck out, only time up. That was back in the first inning. We're in the third, that's a foul ball strike. And Kavanaugh, of course, being held on at first base by Bill Scholdice. Sorelli's got a very good move to first base for a right-handed pitcher. Sometimes, though, coming from the stretch with a runner on like there is, he kind of has a, I don't want to say control issue, he doesn't seem to be as in command from the stretch as he does from the full windup. That's going to be out of play for a strike, and I'll make it 1 ball, 2 strikes. MSJ with 3 runs in the bottom of the second. And the Colonels for their 3rd inning in a row with another base runner on. That is ripped foul. That was called getting around and pulling the ball. I always invite you to watch Sports Beat. That's my show that I created and that I host. It's been on since November of 1995. It's on episode 354. It's on Mondays at 4:30, Tuesdays at 5:30, and Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. And strike 3 looking. Drop down to that 3/4 sidearm, so Sorelli keeps his streak of at least 1 strikeout per inning going, and he has 4 strikeouts now in the ball game. And when he drops down to that 3/4 or sidearm delivery, it does seem to bother the hitters as far as being able to pick up the release point of the ball. So Smith up, Ryan Smith up, he had an infield single his only time up. There's the throw to first, and I'm waiting for the umpire. He says no, he did beat the throw back. Well, it's also a time to see now if Brattleboro is going to try to send the runners on a steal or a little hit and run here. You got a left-handed hitter up. With the runner being held at first, that creates a bigger gap for him to pull the ball through. That was tomahawk chopping. That's taking a swing around your Adam's apple at that pitch, and it'll be fouled out of play. So Sorelli with the lead, 3-0. Again, that's some nice moves over there. Yeah, see Scholdice, just to be annoying, we'll hold the ball right there, right there, right there until the runner calls timeout to get up. Get back on the bag, get dusted off. And Smith with a good eye right there will lay off that pitch, and we will go to a 1-1 count. Again, that breeze I talked about staying pretty much continuous and blowing in from center field right in to the batter's face. That'll be low, below the knee, and runs the count to 2 balls and 1 strike. Ryan Carter behind the plate is your catcher today for MSJ. The Mounties trying to snap a 2-game losing streak. Oh, again, Sorelli nibbling on the edges of the strike zone, will be out 3 balls, 1 strike. Kavanaugh down at first base got there via the walk, and looking to get the second on a walk to this batter, and oh, he will get the call on the edge of the plate, and that will make it full count now to Ryan Smith. The DH, Colby Curlow, on deck for Brattleboro. Boy, it looked like the same pitch, same spot, didn't get the call. So a couple walks this inning have the Colonels right there on the verge of getting back into the ball game. Curlow walked his only time up. He is the designated hitter batting in the number 4 spot. He's actually batting for Adam Bernie Sondhag. MSJ does shift around for the right-handed hitter, like he would be able to pull the ball off Sorelli. And again, first and second, just the 1 out. Lots of options as to what to do here. And Ryan Carter coming out to talk to Mr. Sorelli. A brief meeting, but I'm sure it was a meaningful meeting. And Sorelli, long look in. After a meeting on the mound, you would expect them to have their pitch selection here. Down a little bit more. And the pitch finally coming will be up and high for ball 2. So pitching from down in the count for most of this third inning. He's already allowed 2 walks. He did sandwich a strikeout in between the walks, but he's at 2 balls and no strikes to Curlow. Chad Cutting on deck for Brattleboro. Got the makings of a big inning, only the 1 out and 1 pitch away from loading the bases on walks. Of course, my feeling is 3-0. If the ball is in your zone as a hitter, you should turn him loose, give him the green light. Usually the best pitch of the sequence right here at 3-0. And then thank you very much to prove my point. Right down the pipe, and they had him taking all the way. Now, I know if he gets a ball here and he walks, you say, we got on base here. Yeah, but a pitch like that last one, he could have drove it to the gaps and maybe drove in a run, ended up on second base, could have been in there in the outfield on the base hit, and people got around. So don't always settle for the walk. And Sorelli comes back with a good pitch there and makes it 3 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch right here. Could be the second out, or it could load the bases with just 1 person down. God, I'm looking. Oh, what a pitch. How can you stand there? And not just this particular individual. We've seen a lot of it today from both sides. 2 strikes, and you'll take one right there. 5 strikeouts in the ballgame, 2 this inning. So it's been a all or nothing inning for Mike Sorelli. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and not out of the woods yet. Chad Cutting up. He grounded out to the shortstop, Gilbert. And the runner's still out there at first and second. 2 down now, though. The Mounties trying to maintain that 3-0 lead. And Brattleboro, if they don't get any runs across here, would have stranded, I believe this would be 6 base runners now through 3 innings of play if they cannot change the situation right here. Good pitch. Real good pitch. I know the batter kind of shied away from it, turned the shoulder, but that was a pitcher's pitch right there. Tight and juiced. 1-1 the count. 2 down though now for Sorelli. Good stop. Oh, Carter got out there, slid to his right, made his body big, and let the ball absorb into his chest protector. That kept the runners at first and second. I'm a little surprised by Brattleboro not trying to do something a little more on the bases with those runners. Right now they're just playing pretty much standard, straight up, standing at the base baseball. Sorelli. Foul ball. Came again with the high fastball and got him to foul it off. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the MSJ community, the administration, Athletic Association for allowing me to videotape their spring sports and then play it on Channel 15. The community truly thanks you for allowing that to happen. And that, again, just nibbling away. I'm not a big fan when you're struggling with your control of a 2-2 curveball. Now runs it to a full count, and as a hitter, if you got a gish, you might be sitting on the fastball. And if you're sitting on the fastball and it comes, it's taking away a lot of its effectiveness already. That's going to be down to the shortstop. Gilbert will take the force out. That will strand 6 runners now for Brattleboro through 3 innings. MSJ will maintain a 3-0 lead going into the bottom of the 3rd. So Joel Martell will start the 3rd inning for Brattleboro on the mound, and that'll be a strike on the outside corner. Ryan Gilbert up. He struck out back in the 1st. He will be followed by Willie Haddock and then Bill Scholdice as MSJ at that 2-3-4 spot in their order, and that one slid a little bit too far outside. We'll have a 1-1 count. For Brattleboro, it is Chad Cutting at first base, Adam Bernier Sontag is at second, Troy Scotcher shortstop, and Ryan Cutting is at third. The outfield consists of Andrew King in left field, Andy Kavanaugh your center fielder, Ryan Smith is in right field, and of course Kyle Whitworth behind the plate doing the catching for Brattleboro. Good curveball. And is that going to fall into place? And going to be caught. Nice job of coming in on the play by number 7, Ryan Smith. Now, he's made a couple good plays today, and that was another one right there. The other one was cutting the ball off in the gap off the bat of Carter. So they were retired. Gilbert, the leadoff batter, on that fly out to right field. Now Haddock up. He reached on an error back in the 1st and became the 3rd out, trying to steal second base where they gunned him down. And it looks like we're having a pinch hitter coming up for Haddock. So I don't know if Haddock is injured or Oh, Willie's warming up in the bullpen. Okay. This looks like the goalie, the big guy that played goal. Richards, it looks like Zach Richards. They are not announcing over the PA the batting order, but the guy's big enough. But at my vantage point also, unless they turn around, I cannot see their jersey number. So an 0-2 count and the pitch on the way. Oh, very fortunate that wasn't called strike 3. Again, 2 strikes on you on a borderline pitch. You got to get the bat on the ball and just fall it off and protect the plate. That's getting your swings right there. That was quite a hack at the ball. That'll be fouled off. We'll stay at 0-2. Yeah, I can see out in the bullpen Willie Hanukkah throwing, so Coach Carter looks like he's going to go to a pitching change, as Sorelli hasn't really thrown a ton of pitches in the ball game. That's right off the fist. Looks to be playable about second base, and it's caught by Bernier Sontag, and that was the goalie from the championship hockey team, Zach Richards. So he will fly out, and there are 2 down now. And now Bill Scholdice up. He has popped out to the first baseman. So there are 2 down, nobody on here in the bottom of the 3rd. Martell just kind of cruising along this inning for Brattleboro. Well, Scholdice went up and got it. He went up on a hanging curveball and just crushed it to center field. So the senior first baseman today, see him dancing around at first. They were tossing the ball around on the infield, and with 2 outs, Scholdice will be at first base. Now, Coach Carter will send anybody on a steal. I would be surprised, though, to see him send Scholdice here in this situation. Sorelli at the plate. They will hold Scholdice on, and the pitch will be fouled off. I'll tell you what, that was a good rip at the ball right there. Nice level swing by Sorelli. Well, I'm assuming it's Mike. I'll have to get all the changes. If they do bring Hanukkah out to pitch, Sorelli would probably go to third base, I believe. And that is Mike Sorelli, number 22 up there. There was a question to the home base umpire from Coach Carter, and everybody seems cool and happy with it. Strike called. No shenanigans so far in the ball game. You know, that bums me out. Last ball game, of course, it was held at a Rutland venue, so I wasn't allowed to go to the game and videotape it, which is a whole other joke and a half to talk about. But Coach Carter, to prove a point, went and set on home base for the umpire, and oh my goodness, why don't they do stuff like that when I'm here with a camera? And I'll be fouled out of play. If Sorelli can extend the inning, Ryan Carter awaits on deck. So there is incentive here for Martell to end the inning right here and face Carter with the bases empty, and that's going to be out of play. Yeah, and it's going to be out of play. So Scholdice will circle back and go to first base, and Sorelli, with those 2 strikes, no balls, is protecting the plate. Like I said, you're going to face Carter, but you'd rather do it the next inning with the bases empty than with the bases here at first and second if Sorelli is to get on. Ryan already with a double in the ball game. Now Sorelli will ask for time, be granted time, step out of the box, recompose himself, and now Martell from the stretch will take a glance over to first base. He's coming to the plate. Yeah. Check, swing, foul. That is what you do with 2 strikes. If it's a pitch that could go either way and be called strike 3, just do what Mr. Sorelli just did. It was a little bit higher than what he had wanted for himself as far as his sweet spot, so he just fouled it off and awaits another pitch. Good job. He held back on the breaking ball or changeup and fouls it off. So with an 0-2 count, Sorelli's having an excellent at bat here for MSJ, and I think they've got to start retrieving some of these foul balls, as the umpire, I believe, has run out of baseballs in his little side pouch they carry around. Yeah, and they're asking for a ball from the dugout, and they'll toss it out there. So they'll get some balls so they can continue the baseball game here. And we're in the bottom of the 3rd. 3-0 MSJ with the lead over Brattleboro. The Mounties scoring all 3 runs in the 2nd inning. Sorelli, good job. He laid off that for a high pitch, ball 1. Scholdice, pretty decent lead off from first base there. Almost drew the throw down to first base by Kyle Whitworth, the Brattleboro catcher. And that's going to be in play. That is going to be an impossible play to make. And I can't believe he threw it. Yeah. And that's going to allow the runner. Schuldice, he takes the corner heading home. And it's going to be a close play. And with the collision, he is going to be safe. And then you can see the play behind. The runner will move up to second base. And I can't believe they even made the attempt to make the throw down. That's called decision-making, questionable decision-making right there. So an infield single, an RBI, and then the error on the play. And MSJ with 2 down will pick up a run, their 4th run of the ball game. And now Ryan Carter will get the bat. First base is open, and Sorelli down at second. That's where somebody's going to talk to the fielder and basically tell him to eat the ball or to fake the throw to first. But there was absolutely, with a perfect throw, he was not going to get him out. Now, so Carter had his catcher shin guards on in the on-deck circle. He had to snap them off. And no, you know, somehow I lost track in the book. And it happens. It happens a lot to me. Schuldice scored. Sorelli's at second. Carter is at first. And Kussel is up. And Kussel will be going down to first base the hard way. That's the first batter hit by a pitch. So don't know where I screwed it up, but I screwed up the book somewhere. So Sexton also came in to run for Carter. It's a known Rhodes who did some damage the first time. Well, he got a piece of it on the grass. The shortstop will come back in on the infield, make the catch, the third out, but the Mounties pick up a 4th run in the bottom of the 3rd, and we'll head to the 4th, and MSJ up 4-0 over Brattleboro. So we do have a pitching change in the 4th. Willie Hanukkah has gone from center field, and the left-handers are now pitching in relief of Mike Sorelli. Mike Sorelli has gone from the pitcher's mound to play third base. They've taken Nolan Rose off from third base and put him in center field. And that is going to be a little dinker of a pop-up, and good effort by Laddebush. The ball will be recovered by McCormick, and I'll have a little blooper single from Hanukkah to start the thing off here in the 4th. And for the Colonels, I have it as Joel Martell that was up, but I've been so wrong so many times today, I have no idea. I went back and retracked my book from the bottom of the 3rd inning, and I still have no idea how I missed an at-bat. And I'm not making that up. I went through and traced it all, and that's going to be out of play. You know, though, a lot of it is I run the camera, I commentate the game, and I keep my book. So all I have to do is glance down and be writing something in the book, pick up my head, and I could have missed something. But I know I got to go see Dr. Frank Aquistapace and get my eyes checked out because I'm just getting old. But I have no idea what happened. There's Hanukkah's moved to first, and he had a balk called in his last outing pitching-wise. I mean, usually he's got a very good move to first base. And, of course, being a left-handed pitcher, he's got a huge advantage looking right at the runner at first base. And he dove back to first, and that is Martell at first. So far, I'm okay with what's going on in the field matching my book. Andrew King is at the plate, and he reached on a fielder's choice back in the 2nd. We're in the 4th. Now, Sorelli ended up with 5 strikeouts, 4 walks, and 1 base hit allowed. There were the walks that got him in the pickles, that made him work hard to get out of the innings. Now, I didn't think he had thrown an excessive number of pitches, but I also did not know what he threw earlier in the week for pitches on those road games. So he might have just spent his innings or said something to Coach Carter about his arm or whatever. But for whatever instance, they've come in with Hanukkah now in the 4th of a game scheduled for 7. And Hanukkah from the stretch will lean in and get the sign from Carter, and that's a good pitch. That had some in and out movement on it. Looked like a snake's back. But again, being a left-handed pitcher, you get all that natural movement off the ball. So right now, MSJ, whoops. And you probably want to look at the game, not the middle of the field, right? That is going to be a little dribbler. He should get the one out. Stay with it. Don't panic. Got it. Great job by Haddock, senior, playing with some composure right there. The most important thing was to get an out of that whole thing. Not to panic. Throw the ball away. Try to go to second. Get the force out. Oh, wait a minute. What have they called here? Now, see, this kind of stuff screws me up. They're sending Martell back to second. And are they calling that a foul ball? That must have been a foul ball off the plate, and so all that good composure, just a practice run, as we will have. The same situation, runner at first, nobody down, and King at the plate. Oh, great pitch. Fouled off at the last second, and it'll be down the first baseline. Plus, they took the balls and strikes off the scoreboard, and I got to tell you, that's got to be at least 2 strikes now, because that's 2 foul balls. Martell remains down at first base, being held on by Schuldice in a very conservative lead over there. And Haddock will just take his foot off, and Schuldice will see him hold it. Yeah, this time he didn't get the timeout called, but so MSJ trying to end a 2-game league losing streak, and Brattleboro trying to get. They have a doubleheader today, one here at MSJ, and then they go across the road, well, about 4 blocks away to Rutland, to George Eddy Park. That's called for on the infield by Sorelli. He'll settle underneath it and make the grab. Now, Sorelli, a very sure-handed fielder, and took charge right there and got the out. So there's one down, a runner unable to advance on that play, and that will bring up Kyle Whitworth, who struck out in the second. He's also the catcher, and he also bats the number 8 position in the order. I've seen Haddock pitch some marvelous ball games over the years, and when he is on, well, he is on. I mean, that statement says enough. Great curve. I mean, I hope you could see the bend and the drop on the ball. In the outfield right now, well, I think they're playing pretty shallow. They're right about as straight away as you can be also. That is going to be caught by McCormick. They're going to double him up. That's the inning, and the first double play of the ball game will end the 4th inning for Brattleboro. They trail 4-0. Now, in my book, I have it as Ladderbush up. He's going to hit the ball down to second base. It's bobbled, and they'll not get him. He's going to be safe at first base. So another error, and that is number 5. Now, like I said, I went back and quadruple checked my book from the last inning, and I can't find a glitch in it. So another error will lead to the base runner, leadoff base runner, Eric Ladderbush being on, and it should be Colin McCormick coming up to the plate now, the top of the order for MSJ. And Ladderbush with very good speed down at first base, and they try to bunt, caught. Yeah, Ladderbush, even heading right in the game, didn't take off prematurely, and that bunt will be caught, and that will be a wasted at bat. And I'll bring up Ryan Gilbert now, who's 0 for 2. He struck out in the first and flied out to right field in the third. Now I anticipate him plugging back in Willie Haddock in the next at bat. Remember, they pinch hit for him when he was in the bullpen warming up to come out to pitch with Zach Richards, but just conjecturing here that he would come back out now and be in the on-deck circle and be at the plate. And Gilbert will put that ball on the plate of short. They go for 1 and safe. Now, so they get the lead runner, Ladderbush, out. That's 2 down now with a runner at first base for MSJ. And he's stepping up to the left side of the plate, turns his back. It is number 10, so Haddock. And so Haddock up there now. And you missed it, but the runner is back safe. See, my head was down looking in the scorebook, and Haddock reached on an error his only time up. Remember, he was pinch hit for last time. So again, they're holding the runner on first base, and Haddock looks like he's trying to go to left field with that swing. Haddock, now the pitcher, started the game off in center field. They made a switch and put him on the mound in the 4th. With the double play in the top half of this inning, he faced just the minimum 3 batters. Well, I tell you what, he got around on that baby and put it on a rocket, but foul. So Attica will go back and pick up the bat, get set to hit. They'll send Gilbert back to first base. And now an 0-2 count with 2 down. The Mounties with a 3rd run second and then 1 run in the 3rd, and that's where we're at in the scoring column. They pitch out, they guessed right, they'll throw down, and they did get him. Yeah, I had to wait and see because it was kind of an awkward slide down here by Gilbert. That'll end the inning, stays 4-0 MSJ. Yeah, and Haddock will be looking at the number 9 batter, Ryan Cuttings, or who I think it is, Ryan Cuttings. First pitch popped up, looks to be playable. McCormick says he's got it, and he does. 1 pitch, 1 out. Nice and efficient work there by Haddock. And Andrew Cavanaugh now up at the plate. The leadoff batter in the top of the order has struck out and walked. He got stranded at second base in the 3rd inning. We're in the 5th, scheduled for 7, and lefty against lefty right here. And that just kept coming in, and it came in too far, and it'll be called a ball. So the Mounties defensively with Scholdice at first, McCormick at second, Gilbert at short, and Sorelli now at 3rd. Carter remains behind the plate. Ladabush in right, Rhodes is in center, and Cussell is in left, and that'll be fouled out of play. And so Haddock will even the count up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Troy Scott on deck. The top of the order, the number 1 and 2 players in the batting order, have struck out 3 times combined so far in the ball game. And Haddock will go to that full windup and, oh, just missed. Went around the plate and couldn't nip the corner, and I'll go to 2 balls and 1 strike. Tell you, a beautiful thought process in the sequencing of the pitches there, and almost pulled it off for a strike. Carter with the call, and the pitch from Haddock. Just went fastball. Everybody pointing, everybody running, and it will fall into foul territory and not be caught. It was not out of play. It was just uncatchable. So now we'll have a 2-2 count with 1 down and nobody on base for Brattleboro. They come in with that 1-3 record. Like I said, MSJ trying to snap that little mini slump that they are in. They played both games to a position where they could have won both games, but woulda, coulda, shoulda are not going to help you in the win column. All great pitch. Oh, he didn't get the call. Oh, Cavanaugh with 2 strikes. Runs it to a full count, so he had a good eye. It just was a little nerve-wracking for me as a hitter to watch one come in that close. So Haddock, see what he chooses here to throw on this full count. Oh, threw a strike. That's what he did. Just a fastball with that beautiful movement that those left-handed hitters get. So that'll be Haddock's first strikeout of the ballgame. Since coming into the 4th, he's allowed us a little blooper single through a double play and just struck out his first batter. So Scott up now, and he has struck out in the 1st and struck out in the 3rd. Bases clear with 2 down. And that's going to be right off the fist and out of place. You see Carter will run back, pick up the ball, went off the screen and came back to Ryan Carter. Again, I hope you've enjoyed all the spring sports brought to you by Munger Vision. We've seen some awful good games out of College of St. Joseph's, the provider, from Mill River Girls softball action, from here on the diamond at St. Peter's Field from MSJ. And plenty of more sports coming up in the month of May. Oh, he just couldn't pull the trigger on that pitch. 0-2 from Haddock to Scott. Scott trying to avoid being struck out all 3 times he's been up today. If Haddock does it, that'll be 2 different pitchers that have retired him on the K. Carter sets up on that outside corner, and the pitch will be on the inside corner, and Willie Haddock will strike him out to end the inning, and it stays 4-0 MSJ in the 5th. So Hanukkah back up at the plate. Remember, he was there when Gilbert was thrown out trying to steal second. And Martell still on the mound, and that's going to be a base hit for Hanukkah as he goes the opposite way on a high fastball, and that's just a good piece of hitting by Willie Hanukkah. So the Mounties, with a 4-0 lead, will get the leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the 5th. And Bill Scholdice up. He has popped up to the first baseman, then singled and scored in the 3rd. Courtesy runner coming in for the pitcher. And I just need the young man to turn around so I can see his jersey number. Well, as soon as I see it, I will tell you who the courtesy runner is. So Scholdice will stand up there and see what they want to do with. That's Will Champagne. That ate up the third baseman. He's going to try, and they're going to have the runner at third now because of that play. And so be it runners at the corners. And that ball was just pulled on a laser beam down to third base, and Ryan Cutting just had all he could do to knock the ball down. Now Mike Sorelli up. He is flying out. Well, there's some discussion. Not sure what they could be talking about. Ball never did go out of play. So Scholdice at first and Champagne at third. Sorelli at the plate, and MSJ looking to get some more runs here off from Brattleboro and the starter Joel Martell. He'll come inside with the fastball, but it was a little bit too far inside. It'll become a ball. Again, it's a cloudy sky. It's going to rain later, and I don't think we'll have any problem during this ball game. Possibly Brattleboro's second ball game they play today over at George Eddy Park. They might get some rain, but not right now. St. Peter's Field, absolutely beautiful place to come and watch either MSJ baseball or American Legion Post 31 baseball. And of course, that'll be coming up this summer on Munger Vision, and that'll be followed back. They had Scholdice on a hit and run taking off. So yeah, American Legion Post 31 baseball action back on Channel 15 Sports, as it should be. Great way to spend your summer watching Legion baseball right here in person, and also going back home and either watching it on the computer on the website or right on Channel 15 itself. Tell you what, that was a much closer play at third base than I thought it was originally going to be. I thought it was going to be those fake to third, spin around and fake the first jobbers, but Martell did throw it to third, and the runner was back safe. That is popped up in the air a mile on the infield, and gonna be caught at second base. Nobody can move up on the play. So it'll become the first out as Bernier Sontag will make the catch. Ryan Carter up now. I can tell you he did double and score in the second inning, and then had that phantom at bat. And they're going to have a meeting on the mound about Mr. Carter. And so Carter does not have first base open, but there is a base open. So they might have one of those unintentional, intentional walks, or they might talk about pitch selection. But in any event, Carter up there with runners at first and third, and they went right after him. That's a high, slow chopper. That's just going to be tough. Yeah, that's going to be an RBI infield single, and after all the talk about his power and everybody backing up and a meeting on the mound, it was a little just slow chopper down to third base. It got the job done. So the run will score from third. Scholdice will end up at second. Carter will be at first with yet another RBI. He's going to have a courtesy runner coming in for him. Looks like Sexton, I'm not sure. Yeah, that's Ben Sexton running for Carter. Now Rich Cussell up. Or that's what I have in my book, is Rich Cussell. Oh, he waited on that and drove it to the opposite field. And they're going to send the runner home, and you can see the score there. Scholdice will score. Carter will go to third, and he will dive back. Well, the pinch runner will dive back, who's running for Carter. And so Cussell with a big hit over at first base, an RBI, and that's another run, and it goes 6-0 MSJ. And I'm just writing RBI down. Now Nolan Rhodes up. He has 2 RBIs in the ball game as he's been hitting the ball extremely well in this contest. Yeah, and there's the fake third and throw to first, and everybody going to be back okay. So the Mounties extending that lead in the 5th to 6-0. Like I said, Rhodes had a double that scored 2 runs in the 2nd, plus he eventually scored himself, and then he had a pop out. Well, they got him in a pickle. Sexton's in a pickle, and yeah, he's going to be tagged out. Yeah, that was not a designed pickle. He got caught sleeping over at third base, and the runner did move up to second, but they didn't want to lose the runner at third. So they will address that in the dugout, and that'll become the 2nd out of the inning. 2 runs in, and Nolan Rhodes up now with a runner at second base and 2 down. But I tell you, they just flirt and flirt. They had 2 down, and they're chasing around Cussell, and he's going to end up at third base on a play that really should never have been attempted. Your 3rd out standing at the plate right now as that'll go as another error. I have unofficially 4 errors in the ball game on Brattleboro. I'm unofficial though, so don't ask emails. If you want to write me a cool email and say how good we do and stuff, then you can do that. That's gonna be foul ball back. So Rhodes had a good cut at that. That'll be a foul ball, and 2 runs here this inning, 1 in the 3rd, 3 in the 2nd. That's where the Mounties stand right now in the scoring column, up 6. Willie Hanukkah is on in relief of Mike Sorelli. And Martell just reared back and fired away. Martell's gone the distance for Brattleboro. Like I said, he's been victimized by at moments, some soft fielding behind him that led to some errors. But MSJ's also gotten some solid, timely hits off from him. If Rhodes can get on, they're going to bring up Eric Laddebush. He's the on-deck hitter. And he'll get the strikeout. The Mounties with 2 more runs. 6-zip. MSJ with the lead going to the 6th. Number 3, 4, 5 hitters due up. This is Ryan Smith, as it's lefty against lefty, and Hanukkah has done a nice job since coming on to relieve Mike Sorelli, who pitched very well himself today. Hanukkah with 2 strikeouts and a single in his 2 innings of work. His defense has also turned a double play behind him. And the big lefty. That had some break on him, but way too much. It's outside. And it'll be obviously a ball and a 1-1 count. Ryan Smith today had an infield single and walk. So he's been on base twice today for the Colonels. Remember in the first 2 innings, Brattleboro, well, actually, if you want to go to the first 3 innings, Brattleboro had runners on in scoring position with less than 2 outs a couple times and were unable to get the run across, unable to get the timely hit. That's going to be a foul ball. Rides the first baseline, kicks foul. Schuldice will just pick it up and bring the ball back into play to his pitcher, Hanukkah, and we'll have a 1-2 count now. Scheduled for 7, unless MSJ can erupt for a 10-run lead. From this point on, the game is official right now. Brattleboro's had their and they're calling for it, and Cussell finds it, and Cussell makes the grab. So Cussell grabbed that fly ball into left field, and that'll be the first out of the 6th inning. But as I say, the mercy rule says the team that is trailing by 10 runs or more has to have 5 full at-bats, 5 innings worth of at-bats, and obviously Brattleboro has done that. The problem is MSJ does not have a 10-run lead, so I'm saying this from this point on, if it happens, it would be their great pitch. Just tied him up on the inside part of the plate with that little looper. This is Colby Curlow up. He's the DH. He's batting for the second baseman, Adam Bernier Sontag. It's walked and struck out. The number 4 batter has today for Brattleboro. Same pitch, same location, same results. A strike called, this time looking instead of swinging. Again, Hanukkah, get that nice, easy motion. Good mechanics on Hanukkah. Got him. Oh, how was that a strike? Oh my God. I gotta tell you, I had him punched out, marked up in the book, and I just don't know where that pitch missed. So on a very fortunate ball call, they'll go to 1-2 to Colby Curlow. you'll fall that off. You can't take a 2-strike pitch and get away with what he just did right there too often. Again, I'd like to take this opportunity just to thank the MSJ Athletic Association, also the MSJ administration, for allowing me to videotape their sports and put it on Channel 15 PEGTV. It's a great service to the community and well appreciated by everybody in the area, in the viewing area. It's a smart decision, unlike some high schools make. Struck him out. He got him. They just took an extra pitch or two. So Attica now with 3 strikeouts in not quite 3 innings of work, and he'll bring up Chad Cutting, who has grounded out to the shortstop Gilbert and then hit into a force out. So Attica looking for another. He faced 3 batters in the 4th, his first inning of work. Remember, he had the single, little bloop single, but then his team pulled a double playoff, so he only faced the 3 batters. He faced 3 batters in the 5th, striking out 2 of them, and he's faced 2 batters here, both outs in the 6th. That pitch called a ball to Chad Cutting. Martell, the pitcher, on deck for Brattleboro. Ooh, he had some juice on that one as he cranked it up, and he walked in toward the catcher, and Carter fired a ball back over the pitcher's head, and it's been retrieved by the infielders. Other than that, MSJ has played pretty solid. I don't have him. I'm looking through the book. I don't remember putting an error down on MSJ's defensive squad out here in the book. Like I said, their pitchers, Sorelli with 5 strikeouts, Attica with 3. They've combined for 8 strikeouts and not a full 6 innings of work yet. So Attica with a 2-0 count will get the swinging strike on the rising fastball. Again, Sorelli, who started the ball game on the mound, now at 3rd base. Gilbert's at short. McCormick's at 2nd. And Bill Schuldeis is at 1st. Ladebush, Rhodes, and Cussell, the outfield, and that'll be inside for ball 3. So Attica now, with his first 3-ball count, I think since the 4th inning, he's at 3 balls, 1 strike. And then if he elects to come back with a fastball here, we'll see if they've given Cutting the green light to take the swing if it's in the zone. They gave him the green light. It was the fastball. He was just late on it. He fouls it back out of play. Well, a full count with 2 down and nobody on base. 6 innings, 6-0. MSJ with the lead over Brattleboro. Again, next big sporting event coming up will be the Bougiani Thunderbird AAU basketball tournament on the 10th and the 11th of May. So some good sports coming to the area. And that could be caught by McCormick, and Attica has faced 9 batters, retired 9 batters, and we're going to go to the bottom of the 6th with the Mounties up 6. New pitcher for Brattleboro, coming on in relief of Martell, is Joel Porter, number 18, and he's going to be looking at Ladebush, and there's a strike called at the knee. Ladebush today has had an RBI single in the 2nd, and then reached on an error in the 4th. Ladebush, the right fielder, having a very good day for MSJ, and I'll be in the dirt for an obvious ball. So we'll have a 1-1 count as the book complete on Martell. He's responsible for all 6 runs up on the board. A couple of those unearned runs. His defense behind him at times was shaky, but he did allow some big hits by MSJ. Overall, though, he did not pitch that bad. He had good velocity, he had good movement on the ball. And the pitch from Porter is going to be lifted toward the gap and chased down, caught. Yes, for the first out. So he got the ball around and caught, and he'll be retired, and that'll be the first out of the bottom of the 6th as Andrew King will make the catch over in left field. Now bring up the top of the order, Colin McCormick. McCormick has struck out, bunted out, and popped out. So McCormick, the leadoff batter, the number 1 slot of the order at the plate, the senior, all set, and Porter's pitch will be low for a ball. In the Mounties with a 3-run 2nd, a 1-run 3rd, and a 2-run 5th. And even though they had, I believe, hit him. So McCormick will be at first base after being hit by a pitch. Started to say, though, they had, I believe, 3 doubles in the ball game. MSJ did. They really used their aggressive base running to get that offense in gear. And of course, Coach Carter practices and preaches that, being able to run aggressively to make it an offensive weapon, and he does that. Oh, great pitch. That's a nasty pitch to a right-handed batter. That was Gilbert that swung through it, and Gilbert struck out in the first, flied out to right field in the third, and got on a fielder's choice. He also was thrown out trying to steal a base. So in an 0-2 count with 1 down, 1 on, we're in the bottom of the 6th, scheduled for 7. And that's a warning to the pitcher from the umpire doing the bases. And he will retire Gilbert on a big old lazy curveball for the 2nd out. And it should bring up Hadaka in this spot. They have had Richards bat for him when he was warming up, and it is Will. So Hadaka stepping in to the left side of the box. He's done all right at the plate today. His last time up, he singled and eventually came around to score in the 5th. He'll lay off that pitch. You got very good eye, very good knowledge of the strike zone, and he'll lay off that pitch there for a ball as it came in above the letters high. McCormick at first, and again, good speed, always a threat to steal, and they'll just step off the rubber and didn't even really draw the throw, but he scampered back to first base. And boy, an expanded strike zone there. He'll get the inside corner, called a strike. That breeze has remained consistent. It's been stiff and blowing in from center field into the hitter's face, and it has continued to do so here into the 6th inning. That's a nice stop behind the plate by the catcher, Kyle Whitworth. That will keep the runner down at first base. Again, MSJ's head baseball coach is Glenn Carter. From the stretch, the pitch on the way, and that curveball didn't curve, and they concede second base, and you see that happen. Shane Lee's in there. Shane Lee, number 1 in there, as he will get second base. And that's going to allow him to go to third, and yeah, he'll stay at third base. And that's also ball 4 to Haddock. So runners at the corners now with 2 down. And Scholdice. That they're going to bring a courtesy runner in for Haddock at first. Coach Carter turned to Shane Lee and told him to stay on the base, do not move. He's new to the game of baseball. He's an exchange student, I want to say from Korea. I could be wrong, but I think that's where he's from. And he was in a ball game earlier this year that I did here, the MAU game, and he had been at first base as a courtesy runner. They threw to first, he dove back, was safe, and then just got up and walked off the base while the first baseman still had the ball and was tagged out. So, and you could see on his steal a second, when they didn't throw down, he ran past the bag and turned around and went back to it. If they'd thrown down, they would have been able to re-tag him. And so Coach Carter really working on letting them know the rules. This is going to be bobbled, got in there, they get the out. They will not pick up a run. They'll strand a couple, but they'll come into the top of the 7th with a chance for the win, leading 6-0 MSJ. This is Martell's spot due here. I don't know if it's going to be Porter batting in his place, but King and Whitworth will follow. Haddock has been extremely effective since coming in the 4th inning, relieving Sorelli. Sorelli did a good job at the first portion of this ball game, and there's a strike called. The Mounties not only looking for the win, but looking for the shutout here of the Colonels. And the defense remains that same alignment. And that same alignment is, I'll tell you after this pitch, in case you're just tuning in, strike 2 called. Big Bill Scholdice over at first base. Colin McCormick is at second. Your shortstop is Ryan Gilbert, and Mike Sorelli ends up playing third base. Ryan Carter behind the plate. Eric Ladabush is in right field. Nolan Rhodes, who started at third, has moved to center field. And Rich Cussell ends up in left field. That's strike 3. There's the tag, and there is the 4th strikeout of the ball game by Hadeka, and the 9th strikeout between the two MSJ pitchers combined. Like I said, they've only allowed I have it officially as just that one base hit allowed, an infield single. There's been some walks. There's 2 singles, apologize. There was the one single by Sorelli, and then the bloop single given up by Hadeka. So they basically, unofficially in my book, have a 2-hitter going combined between the 2 pitchers. And that one will explode up and out of the strike zone as it elevated the pitch to Andrew King. He flied out to third base his last time up, King did, which was Sorelli making the catch. Well, we were scheduled for 7, and we are in the 7th. And you were looking at St. Peter's Field, and it's a beautiful place to come watch a high school ball game or American Legion Post 31 baseball. And that starts in June. Get your schedule, get here, and enjoy some good old-fashioned American baseball action in the summer. That pitch called a strike. It'll be 1-1 now. That was a rising fastball that stayed in the zone. And Jerry Munger bringing you all this sports action from MSJ, and that'll be just a tad outside. Right idea, just a tad outside. 2-1 the count, nobody down the bases. And Kyle Whitcomb on deck. This is Andrew King at the plate. And from the full windup, big number 10, Hadeka, will bring the pitch in and run it to a 3-ball count. A little tendency right there to be overthrowing right now. Again, he faced 3 batters in the 4th inning, 3 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th. So he's been looking pretty efficient out there. MSJ with a bunch of home games in May on their schedule. And that will become a walk. Yeah, and a comeback has to start somewhere, and that could be the start of it right there for Brattleboro, as they will send up to the plate. I have Kyle Whitcomb due up. He is struck out and grounded into a double play. And actually lined out into a double play. So from the stretch, Hadeka will work. And again, they will have Schulteis hold the runner on at first base. Great pitch. See that lefty, he's got that. His cut action is it tails away, down and away from the right-handed hitters. Kind of reminds me of the Maycumber boy over in Fairhaven. He has that same action on the ball. Maybe a little more velocity than what Willie does, but same action. Comes back in with that big old Billy lollipop curveball, and that will be called ball 1. 1-1 to count. And again, I urge you to go to the website, www.PEGTV.com. You can do so many things on that new website. You got to go check it out. And Hadeka, entering his 4th inning of work, will drop behind 2 balls and 1 strike. Like I said, availability of other pitchers, I am not sure of. I knew Sorelli, I knew Hadeka. I believed Carter's out of innings, or just threw so many on Wednesday that he wouldn't be pitching today. But again, Hadeka, who had been breezing along, having a little trouble here in the 7th, has gone to another 3-ball count. 1 out, 1 on, and Brattleboro will make him pitch. They will make him throw balls, some strikes here. Make him work. Great pitch. Might have actually been a foul tip caught by Carter, but in any event, it's a swing and a miss and a strike and a full count to Andrew King. This would be a big get right here. I'm sorry, to Kyle Whitworth, the catcher. So Whitworth awaits the pitch from Hadeka. Got him! Came all the way back from a 3-1 deficit to get his 2nd strikeout this inning. His 5th of the ball game. That is 10 strikeouts combined now by the 2 MSJ pitchers, Sorelli and Hadeka. And Ryan Cutting due up, and he's 0 for 2 today. He has flied out to the catcher and flied out to second base. Yeah, so this represents the last chance, possibly the last chance for Brattleboro. And what a, I don't want to jinx them, but MSJ a real good solid effort against a divisional and rival foe here. Just to get the win, but to get the win in this fashion, 6-0 with a shutout. And again, very strong performances by Sorelli and to this point by Hadeka. And again, I've looked through the book, and I am unofficial, but I cannot see where I had even an inkling of an error on MSJ. That's a good curveball, and that'll be foul, and there'll be a strike right there on the pitch. So Cutting will step back in the box with a 1-1 count. Again, weather-wise, to me, after doing some broadcasts that were in sub-freezing temperatures early, and then we had that massive heat stroke where I got a brutal sunburn. This is by far the most comfortable weather I've done to do any type of ball game this spring. And that could be the ball game. Would be Sorelli. He'll bobble, he'll pick, he'll fire, and they got him. He skipped that ball on purpose and picked up speed. Shouldice with a nice dig out, and MSJ will get the win 6-0 over Brattleboro. So an all-around good team performance, and they'll snap that 2-game losing streak. So congratulations to MSJ. Brattleboro with yet another game here in the city to play. And again, nice job by the umpires. And I hope you'll get out and support your student athletes, and I hope you'll always tune on and tune in and tune on to Munger Vision, unless you want to turn Munger Vision on. Whatever. Hey, get out there and enjoy the sports right in your backyard.